Hey, good morning, Wolfpack. We've got a full house today. And we also have, hello, Mr. Larry Hunt. He's even cleaning his screen up.
Hey.
Hey, I want to welcome our guest speaker today, Mr. Jose Reyna. But before we introduce him, we also want to remind everybody out there, you would just mute your mic right now. Sabrina, we need you to mute your mic before we get started. Much appreciated. Thank you. And we'll use a little protocol as, because there's some question and answers you may want to be engaged with today. Just unmute it. And we generally want to have a great conversation with our guests that are coming up. So before we wait, let's do this. Let's have everybody weigh in. Like, who's out there? So our guest speaker, Jose Reyna from Fredericksburg, Virginia, around the Washington, D.C. area, can hear you. So how about instead of me saying your name, you unmute your mic and just introduce yourself. Hi, I am Sequoia, or hi, I am Kiara. So let's open the floor. Go.
Hi, I'm Sean.
Hi, I'm Melissa.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Austin.
Hey, I'm David Schillinger.
Hi, I'm Kira. Hi, I'm Skyla.
Who else? Who else we got out there?
Hi, I'm Sabrina.
Who else we got out there? I think we have two more popping in. Hey, we also have a couple of guests from Iowa. Who else do we have out there?
Hey, Larry Hunt from Des Moines, Iowa.
Hey, Mr. Larry Hunt, thanks for joining us. As you recall, Mr. Larry Hunt was our guest speaker at first series of guest speakers. It's good to see you out there again. Sabrina, I'm going to ask you to mute your mic, please.
I got one more guy coming in. You might know him, Phil.
Who else you have there, Mr. Larry Hunt?
Hang on, I'm working on it.
Okay, we'll tell them, hey, we're going to move on. First of all, I want to introduce everybody. Before we introduce our guest speaker today, it gives my great pleasure to introduce Jose Reyna. I do want to push out a couple items and ask all of you if you would mute your mic for just a moment.
He just took it
Mute your
down.
mic for just a moment, please. First of all, there's been a few of you who have already submitted your individual project plans, and you may not know what to do with them. That may be the case. If that is you, let me know. This is what they look like. We're going to talk about and tackle those tomorrow. Okay, number two, I want to put a shout out to Crystal. She's already worked on her 444 Wendy's Accountable Agreement. She's already worked on her academic goals for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Great job. Also keep that in mind. That would be a good opportunity for you to wrap those up if you would over the weekend. So, are there any questions from our students before we start our guest speaker series? That's that
nothing.
Teacher pause, right? All right.
I have a question.
What's that?
I have a question. It's Alyssa. Yesterday I went on YouTube to see the webinar that I missed yesterday, and it wasn't on there.
Awesome. I'm telling you what, you are pushing it, girl. I love it. Thank you. So at the count of three, I want all of you to call Mr. Quinlan a slacker. 1, 2, 3.
Slacker.
Yeah, that's cool. So, hey, Mr. Hunt. All right. You don't have to rub it in, my friend. But
Hey.
Oh, he did. All right. Well, we're going to introduce him too in just a moment. But Alyssa, thank you for holding me accountable and twisted my arm. So I'll have that out there today. Okay.
Thank you.
If you can hunt me down, drag me through the streets of Scotland if I don't. Promise.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I want to also, before, we also have some other members in our kind of audience. It's kind of cool in this guest speaker series because I do like to invite other people just to kind of lean in and listen. As you know, I call him Dr. Larry Hunt was our guest speaker a couple of weeks ago. Mr. Hunt, who else do you have with you?
Well, I think you might know the guy. I think his name is Sean.
Who is that?
I'm Phil's little brother. He always likes to call me his older brother.
Yes,
he wasn't my
brother Sean. I want to introduce everybody to my brother Sean, who lives out there in Iowa, with a good friend, my other brother from another mother, Mr. Larry Hunt. So it's great to have you two with us here today, guys. Welcome.
We're excited.
Awesome, man. It's great to have you here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's really looking forward to this opportunity. I've been talking about our guest speaker here today, and in the sense of Mr. Jose Reyna, and I've been talking a little bit about, for most of us throughout our series, that Mr. Jose Reyna, I know my brother Sean could speak with a great deal, but here is an amazing story and a great brother. Mr. Jose Reyna is not only spent, but served this country, as he said in his bio, served God, country, and the Corps for the past 30 years. Recently retired the last 3 or 4 years. The highest rank of an enlisted man, Master Gunnery Sergeant. That in itself is an amazing feat. But more importantly, numerous tours overseas to protect you and I. He's that guy that many of us are glad we could sleep at night. It was this warrior, in my opinion, and his great leadership capabilities that kind of kept this country safe and the way it is today. So I really want to give public appreciation to my good friend Jose Reyna Jr. for his service. So not only for serving the Corps, but his amazing leadership ability, which is endless to me. And he presently is working. I'm going to let him speak to his present job today. But his message, I think, really feeds to what our message is as virtual students. And that's what Impact Nation is all about here at G2S. And I've asked Mr. Jose Reyna to join us. And I'm going to actually screen off so we can get a chance to look at him and listen to him. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you a warm welcome to Mr. Jose Reyna. Good morning, Jose.
Hey, good morning, Phil. Good morning, class. Larry, Sean, appreciate everybody being on and just giving me this opportunity to to share a little bit with you guys and just see the smiling faces. But I'm actually honored to be here and provide the opportunity to just be here. So thank you very much.
Hey, it's awesome. A little pause. I apologize. Just another reminder to our students: if you could mute your mic in between questions, so the only mic that will be on is Jose's and mine for now. And then we'll weigh in for questions. That way we don't use a feedback sound. So if you have a mute button, there you go. That really helps out. Mr. Reyna, thank you for joining us. I know you're very busy today, and you work in Washington, D.C., is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So first of all, before we start our interview, tell us, who's Jose Reyna and why should America care? Because I know I do. But tell us, what I mean by that question is, tell us about you and your family, and even start by taking us on a journey where you're at today.
Yeah, absolutely. So just like Phil has asked, and Mr. Quillen asked, is the bottom line is just like everybody else. I apologize for a second, hold on.
Hey, I told you, he's also working today. So we appreciate that, Mr. Reyna. So he'll be right back with us. He's still working. And so is Mr. Hunt and Mr. Quinlan too, right, guys? All right. Thank you.
Team, I apologize. I just had to step away briefly for a question. But bottom line is what Phil was asking is my quick story is just like everybody else's out there that's starting off in life. Like you guys are doing. My parents originally from Mexico, immigrated here in the early 1950s, came here with the idea of a better education, better life for themselves and for their children. My dad had a 2nd grade education. My mom completed 8th grade here in the United States. And then they just had to start working. So they began working and they started raising a family, family of 3, my sister, myself and my brother. And the number one thing that they always taught us is that hard work goes a long way, and put in your effort. With that said, we started working very young because it was a necessity, not because they wanted us in there, but they needed us to work to help sort of provide that financial income to keep us where we were. I can tell you, I won't use the word poor. We were not poor. We had a lot of love in the house, a lot of hugs, a lot of kisses. Financially, though, if you look at economic stance, we probably were poor, but we never knew it. My parents made sure we always had everything we needed. And one of the things my dad taught us was that, you know, if you're honorable and you work hard, you can go places. And so at some point, I decided that I would not be working in the fields my whole life. And I just worked really hard in school. My, Mr. Quinlan's brother down there, Sean, and I spent a lot of time together in the Marine Corps. But one of the things he's always says is 2.2. You got to be punched in the face a couple times. You got to have a 2.0 or 3.0 GPA and get yourself through school. That was me. Got in a lot of fights, but then I quickly realized that wasn't going to take me anywhere. And so I buckled down, I pushed myself forward, and I enlisted in the Marine Corps. And I spent the next 30 years serving as a Marine and doing various things. So bottom line is just hard work has led me to great opportunities. My last tour was at the Pentagon working for the Commandant, who is the highest enlisted or officer in the Marine Corps. And like I said, I enjoyed that very much.
Tell us about your family, Mr. Reyna. Tell us about your sons, your daughters, your wife.
So we have a total of 5 children. All 3 are out doing well. We have 2 left at the house, Christian and Annalie. They're in high school. Christian's a junior this year, very active in his role as a student. He was part of the student body last year. He was the class president and just an overall athlete. He wrestles, he plays baseball, and anything he can get his hands on, he does that. Just very active in the community with doing the things that he does. And then the same for Annalie, who is not far behind. Stays as active and does those things. She's a freshman, and she's also in softball. She plays basketball. So again, stays very active and engaged with the community. The other 3 are on their own. We got Michael, who's the oldest, graduated from George Mason University with an economics major. He's married now, just bought his new house, and it's all done and built, and they're all moved in. Victoria is currently in San Diego State, and she's doing well. Who eventually, Sean, you'll be happy to know she's probably still forward to commission as a naval officer. So we'll see what happens when she graduates this year.
That's awesome.
And that's where we're at with them. And then my wife is very active. She's currently on a 8-day retreat to recharge her batteries up in Portland, Maine, Sean.
Wow.
So she's up there with the Wounded Warrior community, and they do a retreat for the spouses of caregivers. She cares for this guy, and she needs a break every now and then. So she's recharging her batteries currently in Portland, Maine.
That's awesome. You know, and just by listening to Jose for many of us the first time, you can see that support, faith, family, love is a huge part of who you are today, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, let's take us back on a journey, if you would, Jose. You know, let's take Jose Reyna back to his high school days. And then I want you to look at Christian and Anna and your children today, and looking at the challenges that our youth face today versus maybe what you have been faced. Some of those challenges, feel free to speak to them, and even maybe speak to how you may have, even us old sage guys who've been around a while. But what is are there some similarities? What are some of the challenges, and how would our youth today kind of press on regardless through some of those challenges? With your children, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, I'll speak to the challenges, like you said, of my time in high school. Everybody has role models, whether they're positive or negative, right? And you don't realize when you're walking that path what is a positive, what is a negative role model. So in my area where I grew up in, we can just say that our role models weren't as positive as I would have liked them to be, and that's just mainly because they weren't taught certain things. So with that said, what I'm saying is that those individuals weren't doing the best of things, getting themselves in trouble, maybe going to jail, maybe doing other things where they weren't, really best citizen in the community. It wasn't until I realized that I really wanted to play sports while I was in high school that I met men that guided me, not only from a standpoint of making me better, but also from faith and spirit. So those coaches started showing me a different type of role model, and it was very important that I understood that, because I knew the difference then, that I could either follow the path I was on and eventually be like those that were in my area and maybe go to jail and maybe not be so well, or do what these coaches were telling me to buckle down in school, and I had potential. I think it's the first time anybody ever told me that I had potential was my coaches in high school, and they saw something that I could not see in myself. again, remember, I'm a first generation American. Spanish is spoken in my house primarily. And so it's not that my parents didn't have an expectation of me to go on to college or graduate high school. It's just that wasn't something they really knew. From early on, my dad taught us how to work hard, and he did tell us you should go in the Army. And to him, that was all services. To him was just the Army. And he would just say the Army because this is a great country and you should give back to this country. So at some point I realized he was right.
Wow, thank you for your insight. When you talk about your dad really instilled the importance of service among self just by saying that basic statement about joining the Army. And really what your dad was saying is how important it is to serve this great country. Yeah.
Along all lines, like I tell you, we've taught that to all the kids. You know, it's important that they just not excel at sports in school, but that they're also good stewards of the community and they help where they can. And whether it's at church or they engage offline at school, but as long as they're being good citizens, absolutely. Good servants.
Good point. And Jose, a lot of times we talk on our webinars here a little bit, and some of the daily pieces that we push out there, and they're real fundamental principles to you, Larry, Sean, because we talk often about this. Is I speak often about control the day and don't let the day control you. And I was speaking of some mindfulness pieces about how we start our day and how do we attack the day, because really it can be overwhelming at times, you know, financially, just day-to-day struggles. As I had a student who's now present here, Jose, talk about sometimes education and work and school is like taking a sled up a hill, the grind, but yet you get to enjoy the awesomeness of coming down the hill. So it has its highs and lows. Oh, that was a great metaphor by one of our students here today. So what is and how do you, Jose, by the way, time out, everybody. Jose.
You're saying hi. You're going to say time out.
Oh, yeah, we're going to say hi. This is Mr. Banstra, our superintendent, Jose, and also got Larry and Sean over in Iowa. Jose's in Washington, D.C. as our guest speaker today.
All right. Hey, thank you. Welcome to G2S Virtual Learning Cafe, right?
Yeah. You guys have some coffee? Or?
No, there's no coffee. We just call it a cafe.
Just call it a cafe. All right.
Anyway, thanks for joining Phil today, Mr. Quinlan. So
awesome. So, no, we'll be right back after this commercial break. No. Okay. Yeah, be right there. Okay. Hey, see, Jose, the boss is tugging at me too, man.
That's right.
Just a minute. Okay. All right. Anyway, controlling your day and letting the day control you, because so often we get in that grind where we're out of control. And many of us face that every day, myself included, and our students do. How do we, and how does Jose Reyna try to take control of his day, whether it's a routine or procedure or things that you do in your day that help you be successful?
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. That's important. So I know most of you out there about the age of my son and my daughter, and it's important that you start that your day off as best you can, because you can start your day off bad and that kind of snowballs into a worse thing during the day. But bottom line is, at an early age, my parents would get us up very early, and it wasn't because we needed to be up. It was just because of where they were going, right? They had to be in the fields before the sun came up. That meant that they had to make sure that we were up and ready to go and not miss school, either walk to school, catch the bus, whatever that was. So our day always started very early. So that didn't change much. In the Marine Corps, there's a set routine, 5:30 in the morning, the lights come on, you get up, you brush your teeth, you get ready, you shave, you put your boots on, you put your uniform on, you make your bed. And so some of those things have carried on with me, and that's kind of how I start my day. 5:30 in the morning, my alarm goes off, I get out of bed, reluctantly sometimes, but I do get out of bed. I get in there, I brush my teeth, I shave my face, I get ready for work, I make sure that everything is squared away, my shirt is ironed, my tie is ready to go, and I make my way to work, drop the kids off at school. But the bottom line is, for me, most of the time what I'll do is I can listen to something on the radio, or I can put something on with my phone just to get me started, especially if I'm struggling with something. I can give Mr. Quinlan a call, I can give Larry Hunt a call, maybe it's a text, maybe it's just a motivational meme that says, hey, get the day going, don't be a slacker. Bottom line is that I think you overcome challenges by looking for those that are around you and love you to support you. And that can be mom and dad, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, one of your coaches, one of your teachers, because at the end of the day, a lot of times people that are outside your circle can see more potential in you than you can in yourself. And like I said, that's what happened with me. My wrestling coach specifically was huge and just saying, hey, you have the opportunity to go very far, but you have to apply yourself. And what that means to you is this, A, B, C, and D. And if you can do those things, I guarantee you're going to graduate high school and you'll go a long way. So
that's awesome. You know, you spoke right into the next question is, you know, we've been also, you know, I share a lot of some of the students more one-on-one, not really here in the webinar, but our destiny and our existing present position we are in life today is influenced by 3 factors. And you spoke to those too. The books you read or the literature you surround yourself with, the places you go, could be as simple as a coffee shop and meeting somebody to give them hope, and the people you meet. So you just kind of recapped that those are huge factors and not only impact you, but also can control your day. Is that correct?
yeah, absolutely.
So, hey, we're going to just take a quick time out here and open the forum because this guest speaker series is about you, G2S Wolfpack. What questions may you have or wonderings you have? And don't be shy because this is a great opportunity to share some insight or questions you have for great Americans. So who's taking some time out of work today, which we truly appreciate. Go ahead, unmute your mic and throw a question at Mr. Reyna and identify your name. Say this is so-and-so and your question you may have. Don't be shy.
This is David, and I just want to say thank you for your service.
That's awesome, David. That was David Schillinger, Jose. Just reached out to thank you for your service. Anybody else? Sabrina, we have Sabrina who's on the road to Traverse City. She's got a wife, she's got a hot spot. She's got, you know, a car full of sisters and brothers. I think it's awesome you're connected. Sabrina, do you have a question? No, I can't hear her, so she did mute her mic. Mr. Hunt, any questions for our guest speaker?
Questions. Jeez, I'll tell you what. You threw me a pop quiz. You didn't give me time to study.
Oh, yeah, come on, man.
I'm not a good test taker.
All right, what's another guy doing in the room? Is he cheating? Is he looking up by Google?
Wait a sec. Hang on. He's got, like the little Debbie's off.
He said Google.
All right. Hey, Alyssa, do you have a question?
No, but I did really like his piece. I enjoyed listening.
Yeah, well, we're going to, no other questions. Jose, next question I have for you. Are you able to take one? Okay. Hey, by the way, if you hear any background, this is our Friday pep rally we have every Friday here. It's our Friday meeting, staff meeting. So Mr. Banster popped in to say hi. He's rocking out there. We got music and we're rolling here today. So, hey, Jose Reyna, you know, we talk about a brotherhood, importance of people you surround yourself. Who are those people today that really truly influence you? And as you constantly are honing your game and who you are, because we can't be sitting still, right? So who are those individuals that really kind of help you, or books you read, or places you go, or people you meet?
Yeah, I think you have a question, Phil.
Oh, we do?
Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting, but Mr. Quinlan, you're getting text messages saying some of the students keep getting kicked out of the webinar.
Okay, thank you for, that's good to know. Oh, I see. We got we got 14 of you in today, but some of you are I've heard some of you get kicked out and coming back. Is that correct, Alyssa?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you I'll look into that after our today's webinar. Thank you for sharing that, Alyssa.
Yep.
Anybody else want to throw a question? We've got about 5 minutes. Mr. Hunt, anybody?
Question, Jose. What gives you the greatest joy out of however many years you've been on this earth? What's the greatest joy that gives you today as you wake up every single day? What gives you joy?
That's a great question there, Larry. Specifically because we've talked about this before amongst the 4 of us, and that's just sometimes we're working so hard to get to that next level, right? I mean, we're going to school, we're doing all these things, we're going to the gym. We just want to get to that next level, and we forget just to really enjoy the time that we're in. So I recently started with this new company here now. I've been here about 30 days, and the one thing that I just try to do all the time is just kind of enjoy the moment that I'm in and not worry so much about getting to that next level anymore. Not that I want to quit working at myself and things that I'm doing. It's just that I'm trying to learn how to just enjoy the time that I'm in and enjoy what comes with that. So that's really, I think right now, what's giving me the most joy is just taking time to watch the kids do their thing. They have homecoming tomorrow, and last week we took them shopping for dresses, ties. It was fun. At first I dreaded the fact that I was going to be in the mall for the entire day, but at the end of the day, I told Phil it was amazing. I got to see Annalie try on 10, 12 dresses, Christian ties, and all this that. But really, truly, just took the time to say, you know what, you got to enjoy this moment because it'll be gone. And like Phil knows, his girls are gone, and Sean's girls are leaving, and he's got his son. Yours are growing up. Eventually, that's gone, and you didn't enjoy that time. So I'm just trying to be conscious of the fact that I need to enjoy the moment I'm in right now. So
that's a beautiful question, Mr. Hunt. Great answer, Mr. Reyna. It's our good friend Cal Van Single. I think all of us know Cal. Gave us once advice to me. He says, "Hey Q, quit being so restless. Bloom where you're planted, right? Bloom where you're planted. Carpe diem, and really quit worrying about so many other factors." Thank you. Thank you, Larry, for weighing in. And any other questions? Well, first of all, Jose, and I'd like to kind of give you the final word, Jose, as we sign off here today. I want to, first of all, appreciate you hopping in during your busy day, going up to the conference room and connecting with our class. I really feel that this is a great example of where it's the people we meet can make us think differently, can make us think deeper, and maybe even challenge our thinking. And for those of us here at G2S Academy who maybe we're not quite sure of, maybe trying to get that day under control, or maybe some of us are on top of the mountain right now and things are going great, and we're worried about how do we sustain that. We're all at different places and are all challenged different. And just hearing the words of you today, hopefully has reinforced that. It does with me, and I'm going to just share this with my students. I mean, anytime I get a chance to interface with these gentlemen like Jose, Sean, Larry, it just makes me a better person. So I hope you surround yourselves with those individuals who are making you better, because you are who you surround yourself with, and your destiny will be the same. And it's our choice, and it's up to us to decide who is that circle of influence. And so think about that, which will be a future webinar series. I'm going to talk about those people you have who are influencing your decisions. So last word to Mr. Reyna. Really appreciate your insight and like you to have it, unless there's other questions before.
I gotta go.
That was the question.
someone's got to go.
Someone's got to go. I guess that's random, but we're going to give it to you, Mr. Reyna. Go ahead. Take us home, please. Final thoughts.
Hey, just final thoughts. Appreciate you once again inviting me, having on the opportunity to stay here and talk to everyone. Like I said, just like Mr. Quinlan said, try to bloom where you're planted. Do your best what you're doing. Find those people that motivate you, that influence you, that find that gold nugget within you. See that potential, and go Dodgers, huh, Sean Quinlan?
All right, man. Hey, Jose, Larry, Sean, if you could stay on the line, I'd appreciate it for just a moment. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Great turnout. I got 5 texts today that said, hey, I'll be watching this. I'm working or I'm busy. So we had about 22 students who want to show up here today. So thank you all G2S students. Know that I am going to be visiting David in just a few minutes, David. I'm going to hit the car right away and get out to your house. But text me, Sequoia. I'll probably be calling you in Red. But if you need a conference later on this afternoon, please text me. And everybody have a safe weekend. Thank you for being here today. Until Monday, be strong.